Welcome to Metal Daze, where we talk about all things rock and roll and heavy metal. I hope you're ready to feel the steel and dust off the old leather pants. I'm your host, Oz Pierce, and always with me, my co-host, Nick, a.k.a. 907 Steez. How's it going, Nick?
Chilling, man. I'm doing good, man.
Nice, nice. What have you been up to today?
Just been chilling, man. You know, just doing my thing.
There you go, there you go. So I've been listening to some Wasp today, man. They're fucking kick ass, man. Some great fucking, one of the best glam bands in my opinion. They were heavy metal. Now I'm going to ask you a question. When you think of heavy metal or rock and roll, what do you think of?
I think of the 80s. I think of skin-tight pants, skin-tight shirt, drinking, partying, drugs, man, getting laid, dude. That's what I think of.
Is it?
Yeah, man. I think of just, like the 80s, man. Like my uncle says, it was a wild era, man. A lot of partying and drugs and a lot of crazy shit going down. And I mean, you watch the music videos too, and you listen to the lyrics. It's a lot of partying and a lot of crazy shit. You know what I mean? But I tend to actually like the ballads. Like I like I like that cheesy shit.
It was cheesy in a way, but it was good music. It was good. It was good music in my opinion.
I feel it just, I like it because it just, to me, it shows like the real passion, and it really brings out their voice and just their talent. Like, man, like Sebastian Bach, man, that dude.
Whew. Oh yeah, Skid Row.
I mean, that dude kills it, man. Skid Row, yeah, that's my shit.
You like Skid Row? You like Skid Row then?
Yeah, Skid Row, man. That's what I like to listen to. That's the main shit I listen to.
There you go. They're a good band. They didn't come later until the fold. They were in the late 80s, 89, their debut album, Skid Row, Skid Row. So they came in later on the fold.
Yeah, of course.
They were a good rate band.
Yeah, my uncle showed me Skid Row, and that was the first song I actually heard was 18 in Life, and I immediately fell in love.
Oh, yeah.
It's just an all-around just dope song, but it's so popular and mainstream. As I started listening to more Skid Row, I come to like it's on Slave to the Grind, and that album came out, I believe, in 1991. Quicksand Jesus. I love that song because
great song.
It's about like people. Basically, it's about having belief when you're up and when you're down, and not just whatever you believe in, not just crying to whatever you believe in. Like I'm a spiritual dude, but it's basically about that because actually. The people who wrote it was Snake and Bolin, and they were actually born Catholic, and they wanted the song to be about that. So basically, it's like you can't just pray when times are going bad. You have to be praying when times are going good and times are going bad, and that's what the song is about, and that's why I love it. Because in the song, when I first started listening to it, I was getting into it, and then all of a sudden it starts talking shit about Jesus, and I'm like, whoa, wait, I don't know if I can listen to Skid Row anymore, you know what I mean? Like,
oh, yeah.
Because I'm a spiritual dude, and then it goes to like, towards the end of the song, and they're saying, quick saying, Jesus, I need you, you know what I mean? So I'm like, whoa, wait, like, okay. So then I started, I just wanted to know more about it, and then came to find out like that's what the song is about, and I just, that's how I just fell in love with that song. And of course, 18 to Life, I love that song, but another good one too that's on Slave to the Grind is actually In a Darkened Room, man. Slave to the Grind, the album, yeah.
Slave to the Grind song is
another
good
one.
The whole album's good. I used to listen to that album on repeat.
Yeah, I haven't listened to the whole album. I'm not a person who I don't really listen to like full albums. I find like songs that I like. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's with a lot of people in this day and age. No offense, but the best way to listen to music, in my opinion, you can ask your uncle. What's the best way to listen to music?
Oh yeah, he's all about albums. He's all about albums. I mean,
albums is the way to go. He
still has albums. There's
nothing like putting in the record or listening to the full album and just listening to it. Because most albums, they have, pretty much any album you listen to, any good one anyway, will have a whole theme to where the songs are laid out. Everything has the emotion built into the album. It's where you know what's gonna happen, but you know what, there's a feeling that you get from listening to the whole album, is what I'm trying to say, I guess.
Yeah,
That's the best way
yeah.
to do it. Everything's
Well,
lined
me,
up
I mean,
perfectly.
I started listening to like metal and classic rock in my skater days, you know, like when I was in junior high and high school, and
Yeah.
but actually Skid Row, like I said, my uncle introduced that to me, and he's very heavy metal. He could have went to music school, but you know, he lived the life of partying and the real metal life, and you know, make
Yeah.
bad decisions, make bad choices, and things happen, you know.
See, with music,
So
in music in general, there's the people that do the drugs, and there's the people that don't do the drugs. Okay, I used to be the people that did do the drugs, and did do the alcohol and drank, and did all that fucking stupid shit while you did the music. In my opinion, it makes you a sloppy musician. Some people need it, and there's the people that don't. I've transformed to the people that don't, and I'm glad I did, because the people that do are reckless, they're stupid, they're usually mean, they're very insecure about their music, they're very just controlling, and it's not a pretty picture to be in. In my opinion, that's my experiences, but drugs and alcohol is a bad way to do music. The best way to do it is sober. In my opinion, that's the best thing to do.
best way to do anything is sober.
Yeah,
What
it's
I
true.
see is just why people think it's like why they do the whole drugs and alcohol and all that crazy shit is because they see the big the big shots, you know, in the 80s were doing it, but what they don't see is at one point, you know, they were literally grinding hours and hours and hours and
Yeah.
hours, you know what I mean? They got to the point to where, you know, they're celebrating, you know, they're just got done with the what probably like an 8 hour show or something, you know what I mean?
Something like that.
So of course,
Well,
like after that show, they're gonna
well,
go
the
and
shows
party and
usually
drink
aren't
and do all that
eight
crazy
out. They're
shit.
not usually 8 hours, but they're like an hour and a
Not
half
8 hours,
set.
like 4 or something.
No, usually a set's about an hour to an hour and a half.
Hmm.
About an hour.
My uncle said
Hour.
they you know, in the 80s
Well,
they
yeah,
could
I
be
mean, well, there's like,
hours.
well, you have the opener band. Sometimes an opener and an opener. Sometimes an opener for an
Yeah,
opener for
true. I've heard
openers, and you
about
got
that.
yeah, there's nothing. But each band only goes on. The headliner's only going to play for sometimes only play for a fucking half hour to 90 minutes. They don't play that long. They really
Hmm.
don't. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they do
Well,
like a
maybe he was
special.
also talking about going backstage too. Maybe that was it too, because
Yeah, well, the whole
he was
experience
going
lasts.
backstage and
But
stuff.
the whole experience, yeah, lasts about 2 to 4 hours, 5 hours sometimes. But
Yeah, that's probably
but
what he was talking
when the
about.
band when the as soon as the band gets up there, they're only on there for a certain amount of time. It's not
Yeah,
like
I've
a.
personally never been to no concert, and I've
Imagine
never
a
been to
dude
any concert in my
singing
life.
on the top of their lungs for 4 fucking hours straight, jumping around on stage.
Oh man, dude. Yeah,
I've
that's
sang
a
for four
workout,
hours.
man. That's
I've done that before. Sang for 4 hours straight many times, and can't really
I mean,
talk
yeah, you're gonna lose
afterwards.
your voice eventually, man.
You can't. I mean,
I mean,
I know
like
how
I
to
said,
sing, but
Sebastian Bach, man. Oh man, like that dude doing that. Oh,
it grinds the
I
shit out of them.
mean,
Even if you have
how
proper
he,
technique, there's only so much. There's only
yeah.
so much. Even if you have proper training and technique, there's only so long you can do that for. It's just a lot of fucking pressure on your fucking vocal
Yeah,
pipes.
I bet there's a lot of work, a lot of prepping, and
No, there
to
is.
get up to that point. Like
It doesn't
when
come
I watch,
overnight.
I listen, I'll get on YouTube and I'll listen to Skid Row and I'll watch his concerts. Not Skid Row, but I'll watch Sebastian Bach's concerts, and you can see him like prepping and like really like getting ready to like just hit those notes. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, you got to take the
and it's like,
breath.
man, dude.
It's all breathing.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, he's getting ready, dude. And I'm just like, wow. I'm just like so amazed that like this dude's just like, I feel like, you know, if he wouldn't have, I mean, if he wouldn't have been a cocky asshole and said and did a lot of dumb, stupid shit, you know, Skid Row, it could have been huge. But I also think that not Skid Row in particular, but Sebastian Bach was just a little too late. You know what I mean? If he was earlier and Skid Row was like in the, even the mid 80s, you know, they would have been huge, dude, because Sebastian Bach, man, you know what I mean? Like,
He's a great
I've
singer.
even listened to some, and yeah, I've even listened to some of their, like their not their new stuff, but their new singer. Yeah, he's pretty good too. You know what I mean? He sounds good, but I mean nothing compared to Sebastian Bach. Like I said, that dude he's just a killer, man. He's just
He is. He is
man.
fucking. He can get it. He's got a range on him.
Yeah, he's one of a kind, man, and You know, just that was the first thing I even realized when I first heard, 18 in Life. I was like listening to him and I was like, damn. And my uncle was telling me about him. And yeah, when you're young, I think he was like 20 years old when they first when he joined Skid Row, and he was young and dumb, just making poor decisions. I even watched something on YouTube. He literally threw a damn fucking glass bottle at a chick because someone said something talking shit.
Did
So
he
he fucking
really?
literally threw a fucking glass bottle at a chick on accident. Meant to throw it at the dude who did it. Man, I mean, I did, like on the interview that I was watching too. Like, I guess there was blood everywhere and this and that. Even as an adult, man, I mean, he says shit like, someone was like shoving around his mom or his family member or something like that, and he literally stopped the concert and was like talking shit to this dude, and fucking told the dude to get the fuck out, and tell them to grab him and get the fuck out. That's my mom. That's my fucking family. Get the fuck out of here. And I was like, damn, dude, you know what I mean? Even as a grown adult, dude, don't take shit. You know what I mean? And it's funny too, because I was watching an interview on Skid Row, and they're just like, we don't know how such like a prep school kid, because he went to like a prep school, I guess.
Yeah, he did.
And
Yeah.
he was like a pretty boy. And
Yeah,
they're like,
he was.
someone like that, just how did he get to be so like a rebellion and so crazy and shit? You know what I mean?
He didn't want to be a preppy kid, probably. He wanted to fucking stick it to the
He
system.
didn't want to be a preppy kid.
Exactly.
Well,
He
that
wanted
is
to
metal.
rebel. He wanted to rebel. So he did.
I mean, well, that is metal. That is metal.
That is basically metal. Yeah, when people think metal, it's rebel. It's when the metalheads when someone
it
mainly
is.
gets
It's like
it is
they,
when
they
someone gets into metal.
they don't give
it's
a fuck.
Exactly, when someone gets into metal, when they really become a metalhead or a rocker, is because they're rebelling from something. They're an outcast for something. It's its own world. Metal. It really is. It's rebellious. It's exciting. It's something most people don't do, especially anymore. Even back in the day. And I'm not talking about Skid Row. I'm not talking about Poison. I'm not talking about Motley Crue. I'm talking about real metal. Because when most people think of metal, even back then, metal back then was underground. Even back then, it really kind of was. It was its own thing. It wasn't really played on the radio much. Stuff like Poison was, Motley Crue, Def Leppard, all that kind of stuff. That was glam rock, though. That was hard rock. But metal is like Judas Priest and Iron Maiden and Motorhead and Exciter and Testament and all that stuff. But that's the rebellious stuff. The glam stuff, that was commercial. That wasn't really metal. That was hard rock, glam rock. It wasn't hair metal. Okay, that's another thing the public eye doesn't understand. When you think hair metal, what do you think of? Quick, right on the spot. What is hair metal?
I think it's like the dudes with the long hair and all.
Yeah,
but like glamorous.
Exactly, but who didn't have long hair in the 80s?
Yeah,
Rob
true.
Halford.
You got a point.
I guess Rob Halford didn't, but
Twisted Sister, man. That's what I'd really think of. Twisted Sister.
Okay, here's how I love when people say Twisted Sister, because Twisted Sister did not start out. They had the glam look. They had the look of the glam band. They did, but their sound was not glammy. It was not cheesy. It was fucking heavy fucking metal. Twisted Sister was heavy fucking shit. They were an underground club band. They were rebellious. They were fucking dirty, mean, and raw. They were fucking Destroyer. Under the Blade album, man, they were fucking kick-ass. Destroyer. Fucking You Can't Stop Rock and Roll album. There's some kick-ass fucking songs on that fucking album. That early shit was badass. But then they got commercial because that's what happens. Money.
Mainstream.
Money comes into play. People, even people say we're not going to sell out. But then you start throwing money in their fucking face, they're probably going to sell out most of the time. Not all the bands did. That's probably why they didn't make it. They probably chose not to sell out. And they're like, oh, maybe we should have sold out, because they get commercialized. But then so much stuff gets commercialized. Eventually, it's going to die, in my opinion. You can't do that. You can't it becomes so cheesy and so repetitive. People get used to hearing something, so the record producers know what sells. But people start getting sick of that after a while. Hearing the same
like
fucking
Metallica,
shit. Oh, they started out as
to be
fucking
a big
underground
Metallica fan.
Oh, they started out as an underground thrash band. You know, they were totally underground back in the day. Totally. You know,
That's
if
one
you
of
listen
the.
to
I wouldn't
Metallica,
say. I mean, it's kind of talking shit, but go ahead though.
Metallica was underground. You go ahead. That's all I was saying. Back
Well,
in the
for
day,
me,
they
it
were.
was
They just started out.
yeah, like I was really at one point I was really into Metallica, and I'm just not trying to talk shit, but I mean, I wouldn't say. I mean, it's kind of talking shit saying they're overrated, but they're definitely mainstream, and it's like a lot of people know about them. And when people say, like, oh, Metallica, like, oh man, like Enter the Sandman, you know what I mean? The
Yeah, that
one, you know what
pisses
I
me
mean?
off.
Like, for
It
whom the
pisses
bell
me off
tolls.
because Metallica is a great band.
I like,
For Whom the Bell Tolls is a
yeah,
great
go ahead.
song. It actually is a good song. I love that song. But that was prime. That was prime Metallica. That was, Kill 'Em All. Fucking great fucking record. I love Kill 'Em All. I could listen to that all day. Riding the Lightning. I could listen to that all day. And that was the album For Whom the Bell Tolls was on. Fucking killer fucking record. Love it.
What did you think of the one?
One on Justice for All.
Yeah,
It's not a bad one. It's not my favorite.
yeah.
It's kind of when they
Well, a
started.
lot of people say that. That's what it's. So it's called. It's called One.
Yeah, I know the song.
Is it
It's
called The
Justice
One or
for All.
One?
It's just One. It's on Justice for All. It's not a bad.
Okay, One. All right. Yeah,
It's not a
yeah.
bad record.
It's a mainstream song.
But that's when they started to sell out, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
When they started.
Like my favorite song is
In my opinion, that's when they kind of
went.
Yeah, no, I'm okay. When I think of Metallica,
You ever hear Whiskey in the Jar? You ever hear that song?
Yeah. I can't remember who it's originally.
That's my favorite Metallica one. I don't think it's mainstream. I mean, a lot of people don't know that.
That's a cover.
Song.
That's a cover song. I forgot who it's by.
Oh, really? I didn't know. I
kind of forgot who it was by. I have a feeling I know who it's by, but I'm not going to say it because if I'm wrong, people are going to give me shit for it. But I don't
Ramones?
know. No, if I had to guess, and this is just a guess, I think it was Leonard Skinner. But I shouldn't even said that because I don't know.
They did cover Leonard Skinner songs. They did.
But I don't know enough about Southern rock to say it was Leonard Skinner. If I just had to guess, that's who it would be.
Well, I was just saying, that was, but
Metallica was great.
Like you're also.
They were. Just when I think of Metallica, I don't even want to think about past and Master of Puppets because Master and Puppets and back is fucking kick ass fucking heavy fucking dirty raw mean heavy fucking metal. It is straight up. But after that, it's like, okay, I'd rather listen to fucking Motley Crue at that point. I'd rather listen to fucking Kip fucking Winger than I would.
Yeah, I'm not. Those are two other bands too. Motley Crue and Guns N' Roses. I'm not a big fan of either,
level.
But
that's a different level. Okay,
that's what I think. But that's also what I think of when I think
of
heavy metal too.
Well, it's not heavy. I know it's what people think.
You asked me,
it's what
like,
the
what do I
standard
think
eye
of?
thinks of when they think of heavy metal. Yes, the public eye. Even back in the day,
that's
thought
like
Def Leppard. They thought Poison. They thought Motley Crue. They thought Cinderella. They thought those bands. They thought that was heavy metal, but it really wasn't. It was Judas Priest. It was Iron Maiden. It was Black Sabbath. It was Exciter. It was Sabotage. It was the fucking mean, dirty, rebellious fucking bands. It wasn't Night Ranger, which I love Night Ranger. It wasn't those bands. It was the mean. It was the people thought it was scary. They thought it was mean. They thought it was satanic back then. And it's not. Some of it was. Slayer. Slayer was, I guess. And so there was Venom. Those were satanic bands. But I used to love that stuff. That was mean, raw, heavy metal. It was.
So who's your band? And
my band?
Who's your band? What's your favorite band and who you listen to? Like
my favorite band?
You know what I mean?
My favorite band.
Yeah, like mine's Skid Row.
Oh, Judas Priest. 100%.
Judas Priest.
I'm a Priest fan.
Why is Judas Priest? Because what makes Judas Priest so good to you?
Judas Priest was the founder of heavy metal right next to Black Sabbath. Okay? They both played key parts in heavy metal. Black Sabbath, Judas Priest, right next to each other, in my opinion. They set the fucking bar for heavy metal. For people. Without Black Sabbath and Judas Priest, there would be no heavy metal, in my opinion. Not the way it is, anyway. It's just, they were the key founders. You got Black Sabbath You got Judas Priest, formed about the same year, around that time, 1969, the late 1960s. They were both formed. They were playing jazz and blues in clubs in Birmingham, England, somewhere over there. I don't know if I'm saying that wrong or not, but they were playing somewhere over there in clubs, jazz, blues, all that kind of stuff. So then Tony Iommi on guitar, he formed that heavy power chord sound, that dark. They were playing jazz, Black Sabbath. So was Judas Priest, blues and jazz stuff. But then Tony Iommi lost a finger, I think, in some kind of sawmill or a steel mill, and he lost a finger, and he did that power chord because that was the easiest thing for him to hit, I think, or something like that. That's what he hit naturally. And then, so what they did, and then they fucked their amp up somehow, I'm pretty sure, doing something. And they got that heavy, distorted, the distortion, the heavy power. So he hit that power chord and that distortion, and they liked that sound. So they basically played fucking jazz with distortion. And that's what if you listen to a jazz song, then listen to a Black Sabbath song. Or really, if you could find some really old underground Judas Priest, or even the Rock-a-Rolla album from Judas Priest. It's very jazzy, very bluesy. And you just picture the distortion going away. That's all it is, even with the distortion.
Yeah, I like their song "Breaking the Law." That's one of my favorites.
Yep. But they set the bar because
that's a good one.
You had then Judas Priest, because Ozzy was a different style of singer than Rob Halford brought in the high pitched screams and the super long melodic singing, where Ozzy kind of brought in the straightforward, hit the punch. Ozzy was kind of a punch singer, kind of a yell singer, where Rob Halford was a very melodic, had a range singing. They're both key parts of metal because there's kind of two different styles of singers, in my opinion, in heavy metal. There's the Rob Halford and there's kind of the Ozzy. There's kind of the one that hits the kind of that just kind of yells into the mic and kind of uses his own voice. And then there's the actual singers like Rob Halford that actually sings.
Yeah, Rob Halford was actually Sebastian Bach's
100%. Oh, they're basically the same style of singing. Yeah, you can definitely hear in Sebastian's voice that he was definitely. You can definitely hear Rob Halford. You can hear Dio in his voice. Ronnie James Dio, another phenomenal founder of heavy metal right there. Ronnie James fucking Dio started out in his original band Elf. With Richie Blackmore. Richie Blackmore left Deep Purple, went into Elf. Fired everybody but Ronnie. Then they started and they made the name Rainbow. Richie Blackmore's Rainbow with Ronnie James on the vocals. And then eventually Ronnie James left the band and he joined Sabbath, Black Sabbath, in 79, 80, around that. And they brought in Ronnie James. Ozzy did his own thing with Randy Rhoads, and then Sabbath had Ronnie James Dio in the band. And they did their Heaven and Hell, Mob Rules stuff. Ozzy did his thing with the Blizzard and all that. And then they did their thing. They all did success. But that's how those bands start. They didn't start. It wasn't just heavy metal. It was built up.
No, I know what you're saying.
All those bands, those heavy metal bands, they use that formula that Sabbath and Priest made. They use that formula. They do.
It.
All of them do. But those cheesy bands, there's the cheesy bands that kind of just like totally went commercial, man. This is cheesiness. There's a cheesiness to the glam rock. It's not as heavy. It's not as mean. It's not bad music. I listen to it. I like it, but it's not. I wouldn't call it heavy metal. It's not that I'm just hating on it or disrespecting it. I love the music. It's very talented. Glam rock is. Very talented. It's very melodic. It's very good. I like it. But it's not heavy metal. You know what I mean? I'm saying?
Okay, yeah. No, I know what you mean. I get what you're saying, like the style and just...
Yeah.
You know.
I think that's about it for today.